Welcome back. Whether you're returning from our first episode or joining us for the first time, I'm glad you're here. And today we're exploring something that every single one of us will need at some point in our lives. Something that separates those who merely survive from those who truly thrive. We're talking about resilience. Not the kind that pretends everything is fine when it's not. Not the kind that suppresses pain or denies struggle, but the kind that acknowledges the storm, stands firm in its winds, and emerges on the other side stronger, wiser, and more capable than before. This is your guide to building unshakable mental strength. Let me start with a truth that might surprise you. Resilience isn't something you're born with. It's not a genetic lottery where some people get it and others don't. Resilience is a skill, a muscle that can be trained, strengthened, and developed over time. Think about the last time life knocked you down. Maybe it was a loss that shattered your world, a betrayal that broke your trust, or a failure that made you question everything. In that moment, did you feel resilient? Probably not. But here's the beautiful thing. Resilience isn't about never falling. It's about what you do after you hit the ground. It's about the choice you make in that critical moment between despair and determination. Resilience is often misunderstood. People think it means being tough, never crying, never showing weakness. But that's not resilience. That's repression. True resilience is the capacity to experience pain fully, to acknowledge your vulnerability, and to keep moving forward anyway. It's the ability to bend without breaking, to adapt without losing your core identity, and to find meaning even in the darkest chapters of your story. And here's what the research shows. The most resilient people aren't the ones who've never faced hardship. They're the ones who faced hardship and learned how to navigate it with grace, grit, and growth. I want to share something with you. There was a time in my own life when I thought I'd reached my breaking point. Everything I'd worked for seemed to crumble overnight. I felt like I was drowning, and no matter how hard I swam, the shore kept getting further away. In that darkness, I learned something profound. Resilience doesn't mean you don't feel the pain. It means you don't let the pain define you. It means you find a way to hold both the grief and the hope at the same time. And that balance, that ability to honor your struggle while still believing in your future, that's where real strength lives. So what makes someone resilient? Research in psychology has identified several key factors. First, emotional awareness, the ability to recognize and name what you're feeling without judgment. Second, strong support systems, people who see you, hear you, and stand with you. Third, a sense of purpose, something bigger than yourself that gives meaning to your struggle. Fourth, adaptability, the willingness to adjust your approach when circumstances change. Fifth, self-compassion, treating yourself with the same kindness you'd offer a dear friend. And finally, realistic optimism, not blind positivity, but a grounded belief that things can get better, combined with the commitment to take action toward that better future. Let's get specific about how you build this resilience muscle. The first step is acceptance, not resignation, but acceptance. There's a profound difference between saying this is happening and I'm helpless versus this is happening and I choose how I respond. Acceptance doesn't mean you like what's happening. It means you stop fighting reality long enough to figure out your next move. Because you can't change what you refuse to acknowledge. You can't heal what you won't feel. And you can't move forward if you're still wrestling with what should have been. Take a moment to ask yourself, what am I currently resisting in my life? What truth am I avoiding because it's too painful to face? What would change if I stopped fighting what is and started working with what is? These questions aren't comfortable. They're not meant to be. But discomfort is where growth happens. And if you're willing to sit with these questions, really sit with them, you'll start to see the path forward more clearly. Listen to the stories of those who walked through fire and emerged transformed. What do they all have in common? It's not that they're superhuman. It's not that they didn't break down or doubt themselves. It's that they found something worth fighting for, a reason to get up one more time. For some, it's their children. For others, it's a dream they're not willing to abandon. For many, it's simply the stubborn refusal to let their pain write the final chapter of their story. And that reason, that why, becomes the anchor that holds them steady when everything else is chaos. Look at this plant. A few weeks ago, it was nearly dead. Someone forgot to water it. The leaves turned brown, stems broke. But I didn't throw it away. I trimmed the dead parts, gave it water and sunlight, and waited. And look, new growth. That's what resilience looks like. It's not about avoiding damage. It's about creating conditions for recovery. And the same is true for you. When life breaks you, you have to tend to yourself the way you tend to this plant. You have to cut away what's truly dead. Toxic relationships, limiting beliefs, patterns that no longer serve you. And then you have to nourish what remains: rest, connection, purpose, hope. Here's a practice I want you to try. It's called the 3 R's of resilience. Recognize, reframe, respond. When something difficult happens, first recognize what you're feeling. Don't judge it, just name it. I feel scared, I feel angry, I feel overwhelmed. Second, reframe the situation. Ask yourself, what's one thing I can learn from this? What's one aspect I can control? What would I tell a friend in this situation? And third, respond with intention. Choose one small, concrete action you could take right now. Not next week, not when you feel ready. Now, because action, even tiny action, breaks the paralysis of overwhelm. Notice the difference. It's not that the second person doesn't feel the fear or the pain. It's that they've learned to work with it rather than against it. They've learned that emotions are information, not instructions. Just because you feel hopeless doesn't mean the situation is hopeless. Just because you feel incapable doesn't mean you are incapable. Your feelings are valid, but they're not always accurate. And learning to distinguish between the two is one of the most powerful skills you can develop. Now let's talk about something crucial. You don't have to do this alone. In fact, you can't build true resilience in isolation. We need each other. We need people who will sit with us in the darkness without trying to fix us. We need people who will remind us of our strength when we've forgotten it. We need people who walk similar paths and can say, I know how this feels and you'll get through it. If you don't have that support right now, I want you to know it's out there. Reach out. Join a group. Talk to a therapist. Call that friend you've been meaning to reconnect with. Because asking for help isn't weakness, it's wisdom. Before we close, I want to acknowledge something. If you're in the middle of a storm right now, if you're barely hanging on, these words might feel insufficient. You might be thinking, this all sounds good, but you don't understand my situation. And you're right, I don't. I don't know your specific pain, but I do know this. You've survived every bad day you've ever had. You've made it through 100% of your worst moments. And that's not luck. That's resilience. That's you. Showing up for yourself over and over again, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. Here's your challenge for this week. Practice the 3 R's. Recognize, reframe, respond. When you face a difficulty, no matter how small, work through those steps. And then reach out to someone. Share what you're going through. Let yourself be seen, even if it's uncomfortable. Because resilience isn't built in secret. It's built in community, in vulnerability, in the courage to say I'm struggling, and the willingness to accept support when it's offered. As we close this episode, I want to leave you with this thought. The storms of life are not punishments. They're not evidence that you're doing something wrong or that the universe is against you. They're simply part of the human experience. And every storm you weather makes you more skilled at weathering the next one. You're not broken. You're not weak. You're in the process of becoming someone stronger, wiser, and more compassionate than you were before. And that process, as painful as it is sacred. Honor it, trust it, and know that you have everything you need inside you to rise. Thank you for walking this path with me today. Remember, resilience isn't about never falling down. It's about always getting back up. And you, my friend, are stronger than you know. Until next time, stay grounded, stay open, and stay resilient. Goodbye for now.